You know, out of all of the cool animals that are associated with witchcraft, you probably don't think of the crab. Both used as ingredients and just in general associated with witchcraft in a bunch of other ways. It's just something you don't think about, or at least I haven't. There's a decent amount of folklore associated with crabs, including that a combination of like burnt crab parts and crushed crab parts was something that you would give to people as a magical cure for swelling, or at the very least, the Anglo Saxons had such beliefs. And if your eyes were swelling, there was a known cure of removing the eyes of a still living crab and placing it on the back of the victim's neck. Victim referring to the person with swollen eyes, not the crab, but the crab is definitely a victim here. And I forget where this is, but there is folklore somewhere that if you remove the legs of the crab, bury the crab, it will eventually rise out from where you buried it as a scorpion. And a man named Nicholas Remy specifically compares witches to crabs. Specifically in such the way that apparently people who were demonolators and therefore would worship demons on their way to the altar would have their back to the altar, and they would only like walk sideways, much like a crab. In my opinion, that's just doing something the opposite way that Christians do, and just being too much about it. But and again, because they have a tendency to walk backwards or sideways, their shells being made into a powder is often used in spell reversals. In the Republic of Zambia, magical practitioners can have crab familiars, specifically a 4-foot crab called the Nakala that has two heads that are shaped like hippos. And pretty much the only reason for them to have this familiar is to unalive people, which the Nakala does by eating people's shadow. And both because of their shells and their like legitimate genetic relationship with scorpions, crabs have a tendency to be used in protection and banishment workings the same as a scorpion. There's also Romani folklore in certain Slavic areas that talks about a crab demon that is the son of one of the demon kings of disease that will roll around in people's stomachs, but especially pregnant women. And that figure is literally the cause of all female diseases. I just thought that was interesting, just weirdly specific. Though, if it makes you feel any better, if he's accompanied by his wife, he will cause a lot of discomfort but won't unalive you. Now, granted, I'm a mountain witch, not a sea witch. I'm sure sea witches can give you a lot more information, but I just thought it was cool to share.